Hello and welcome to this week's Anuata Energy Clearings. So what's come through this week, and it's very interesting because next week's has already come through as I was writing my notes. I'll share more about that in a minute. What came through this week is restoration, and restoration being like that permission to rest, that permission to surrender. And guess what? It's entirely linked to receiving as well. So the permission to rest and restore is the same energy, it's the same belief system as giving yourself permission to receive. And I have done a lot of work around burnout. I've written a program on burnout. I've done all the videos on, I know all the tools around burnout. And guess what? End of last year, I still burnt out. And part of that is because I did not allow myself to rest, restore, surrender. And actually, in the end, it's surrender to trust. And that's the piece. And the reason it's such a big piece for us is because there's very, very, very deep subconscious programming going on around us giving ourselves permission, full permission to actually receive the things that we really desire, whether that's success, whether that's love, whether that's intimacy, whether that's whatever it is. There's often that deep entanglement, maybe family related, maybe society related, who knows. That's what we're going into today. And in that, when we start to come into this deep spaciousness of unraveling and opening all of that up, that's where we can activate more of that dormancy within. So a few people last week experienced this awakening of the dormancy where they were kind of yawning because the activation was happening. So we need to be in restoration for those parts to be activated. We need to be in restoration for those parts of us to come alive, because remember, restoration, receiving, it's all feminine. It's feminine energy. So if we want those feminine parts of us to come to activate, to be alive, then we really need to be in that state to allow it through fully and wholly. And I don't really need to tell you guys, but we are in January and we still have February and it is still the dead of winter and we haven't moved into the fire horse energy yet. We haven't moved into the spring equinox yet. And if astrology is anything to go by, this year is huge. Dominica probably knows more about this. Maybe we can even do a session around that one time. But the astrology this year is massive. And we have to be in restoration right now. We have to be inward and we have to be in restoration right now if we want to create the capacity to hold what is coming this year. So just let that land, because this is, so many people, I can see it everywhere. So many people are rushing and trying and doing things. And I'm like, how's that going to sustain in particularly in this year we have coming, and like, not to mention what's going on a global level right now. So much is going on. And us in particular, the ones doing the work, the ones that understand, the ones that are being connected, like who are connected, we need to be so grounded, so steady, so secure, and this is where it leads on to next week's, to come into our sovereignty, right? Because that's what, and the next step of this, just going to touch on it because it's just exciting, but the next step of this is about like what sovereignty means and what it means for each one personally. And like, of course I am absolutely behind love and light and creating love-based realities. But this year we need a little bit more than that. We need you guys to stand. We need you guys to stand. We need you guys to use your voices. We need you to like step forward this year in particular. Because we know that when we're sovereign, when we're in our power, we can do anything. And we need to do that on a collective level this year because we need to change. The world needs to change. Humanity needs to change. Everything needs to change. And it's going to be, it's coming, you know, it's definitely coming. And so we have to be brave enough to step forward and to say the things that are not easy to say and to get into alignment with the things that don't feel easy. Because I am sure, so it's, you know, it's, and this is the thing, this work is about love and light completely, like 1,000,000% it is. And it is about speaking truth. And it is about standing in discomfort sometimes. And that's where we need to be for sure this year. So all of those little things we're gonna come into our practice now. And I just want to say as well, like theta state, the brainwave of theta is restoration. I do have a few little audios on my website, and I follow up with one in a minute. A little audio at some point soon in the group is like when we go into theta state, that is restoration. That is like when we're at our most, that it's in between conscious and subconscious. It's when we're at our most kind of receptive, when we're at our most, one of our most creative. Alpha goes into more creative, gamma goes into bliss. And we do touch all of those states within these sessions. But I just want you to know, like, if you ever need to, you just come back to this little practice, essentially. Even if it's 5 minutes, just keep coming back to this practice because that holds that level of restoration that we're and capacity that we're really talking about. All right, so if everyone feels good to do so, we're going to get comfortable in our seats. We're going to get comfortable in our bodies. We're going to place the hands, palms facing up, closing down the eyes when you're ready. And we're going to take 3 long breaths together, in through the nose. And exhale, blowing away anything that's not serving you, that doesn't need to be in your space. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, releasing, dropping deeper and deeper into the body. Final time, inhaling in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it at the top if you can. And when you're ready, just release and let it all go. Sinking, softening, deepening into the heart space. Allow the heart to expand. Allow the heart to awaken. Allow yourself to just drift and drop deep, deep, deep through your body. Through your being. Down, down, down through the earth. Deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth, all the way down to that ball of light at the center of the earth. Connecting and plugging into that ball of light. Allow yourself to just rest here. Allow yourself to feel that surrender, that relief of being held in this space. Being held by the earth, even if it's just for this moment, for this session. Nothing to think about, nothing to worry about. Full safety, security, and surrender. The sensation, the feeling, remembering that once we embody the sensation, the feeling, we create more of it. And then consciously just let any of your worries drop into the earth, dissolve into the earth, like hand them over to the earth, like it were your mother, the mother role. These are my problems, help me. and just drop them all into the earth. To this creation, this creative life force, which is the earth, the Mother Earth. Non-stop creating, never stops creating, transmuting in a completely unforced way. I think that's the way of describing it. That energy that we're kind of connected to in the earth right now, it's like it just does, it just is, it does, it changes, transforms, that's it. Transforms, but without any force or push. It just is, just does it. And that's us too. We are, just as living beings, we just are. We don't, and I think this is also one of the biggest fears of resting or restoring or stopping or staying still, is that nothing's going to change, grow, evolve, move. But actually, by being, it's always doing it. We're always evolving, we're always changing. So in that, we can now release that fear that if I don't keep doing, I cannot create the things I want to create. If you're ready and willing to let that go, to release that belief, now nodding or saying yes. Thank you. That's really core. That's really root, actually. I'm enjoying seeing all of that be drained away into the earth now. Any of the belief systems, programs, behaviors that are caught up in that energy. Heal, resolve, dissolve. Okay. For some reason, I'm getting quite a lot going on in the throat right now. Let's just see what that is. Okay, well, first of all, we're just going to go up into theta before that, then we'll come back. So that ball of light at the center of the earth, we're going to bring through the body, purifying, cleansing, clearing, updating, upgrading, without that core rooted belief or misunderstanding or untruth that when we stop or stay still, we're not still evolving and we're not still growing and we're not still manifesting and we're not still creating. We're very much still creating when we stay still, very much. Oh, that's nice to know on that level. So then all of that fear and tenderness around the heart, just dissolving it all, letting it go, calling the energy through all of the body with that lightness now, through the mind, the brain, out the crown of the head, into a ball of iridescent pearlescent light, protection. And we're going to take you up. And as we take you up, basically what we're doing is just going into your deeper states of consciousness. And we have this tool that we use to get into those deeper states of consciousness, theta, alpha, gamma. So all the way through the universe, through the planes of lights and dark lights and bright lights and dark lights, into the golden mist, through the jelly-like substance, the universal laws, into the pink mist. Allow it to push you deeper, 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 higher, 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 into the pearlescent light, into infinite source. Keep going higher and higher. And we all know infinite source exists. Like this, you cannot not know that infinite source exists. And in that, we're going to allow any of the pressure around, for some reason this is coming up, any of the pressure around knowing that or not knowing that. Can we just release all of that from you now, around the shoulders and the neck? And deeper and deeper into infinite source. And allow yourself to be showered with unconditional love. Allow yourself to be every cell, just noticing any parts of the body that don't feel, and it's actually like that don't feel worthy of infinite love or unconditional love. So any parts of the body right now that feel a bit stiff or a bit stuck or a bit uncomfortable in this level of source, which is always in and around us. We just want to activate more of that within the body being right here, right now. I'm witnessing that for you. And as you allow that in, that's part of the receiving. As you allow that in, just softening a little more, 10% more, 10% more in. Okay, so the first thing now we're going to come to, I'm still aware of the throat thing, but I think that's a bit later. Yeah, so the first time that you ever felt pressure or burden away from source, like away from receiving this level of divine light or unconditional love, what was that? What was that blocked it or stopped it or put pressure on you, said it wasn't allowed or that you're not worthy of it? And then connecting deeper so that we're coming into the very, very, very first time. And you might feel yourself like transcend through that feeling several times, but let's drop, if you can now, in the light of Creator, to the very root cause, the very first time you felt that pressure or burden or pull away, that you weren't worthy or deserving of that. And just giving her so much unconditional love. Just holding her, seeing her within this space now with so much unconditional love. Just really seeing all of that sadness and giving it so much love. And that tenderness in the heart. And then asking her, why is it not allowed? What is the worst that can happen? And even if it's just a word that comes up right now, stay with that word and ask yourself, what happens with this word? What happens without this word? And then ask yourself, in the light of Creator, in this space, in this vortex that we're in now, is that true? Is that true? And just observe. And who am I now? Who is she now? Allow her to be really seen, really witnessed in all that's coming up. And allow this infinite source to absolutely validate her now in the highest and best way possible. Letting her know that she is source. She is source. She is connected to everything. The push and pull that pulled her away does not exist. Because this infinite source is her. Holding space for her to really recognize that, to really feel that on every level, across all space, time, dimensions, realities, languages. She is infinite source. She is divine spark. She is meant to be here. Anywhere there was any beliefs, programs, stories where she didn't believe she was supposed to be here, can we please heal, resolve, dissolve, cancel and delete all of that for her now? Nodding or saying yes if you'd like to receive that. And can we bring in what it feels like for her as a divine spark, as infinite source, what it feels like to experience this level of unconditional love, this level of connection, letting her know that this is always available to her. And there's still a little bit in the solar plexus in the stomach of I'm not allowed. And of course that I'm not allowed is the same thing as the rest, restoration, stopping. Okay, let me just tune into that a sec. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to send a huge healing of unconditional love to all of the many narratives running in her childhood. I'm allowed, I'm not allowed, I'm allowed this, I'm not allowed that, I'm allowed, I'm allowed. It's like this total confusion and entangled energies, always trying to work out because it wasn't consistent for her at all. Always trying to work it out, always overthinking, always never trusting herself, never being able to relax because it was always trying to work out whether it was allowed or not allowed in this. So let's just send the healing of unconditional love, and also just let's see that and send unconditional love to all of that and blessings to all of that, to the confusion and the acknowledgement of how hard that is to live in that, to be a child growing in that, and how hard it was to be safe within that, but also to find herself within that. There was no space to be, this is me, this is who I am. So if it's okay with you, we're going to lift all of the program, all of the beliefs, all of the behaviors, all of the stories across all space, time, dimensions, levels, to do with allowed, not allowed, confusion, who am I must be for everything else, I must be for everyone else. Heal, resolve, dissolve, all of that into the Creator's light now. Nodding or saying yes to let that go. There we go. There we go. I can feel there's a much stronger connection coming through. What it's like the life force energy is pulsating through. Can you all feel that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to keep witnessing that so that it drops through on every level, and that you feel that on the embodied level. Can we bring in the awareness of what it feels like to trust this connection, and what it feels like to receive and to be safe in your body, and also what it feels like to have an inner knowing and an inner wisdom and an inner guidance. This is part of the waking up the dormancy here, but also letting her know that you've always had this, always. And whilst there was the parenting, the schooling, the society of allowed, not allowed, they were just to try and keep you safe or protect you or to guide you. They weren't supposed to be the things that ingrained in your energy to create this entanglement and confusion. But of course, to a small child, it's impossible to know that. So I'm still witnessing all of that being cleared out, this like releasing of the entangled energy and the allowed, not allowed, which does it does play into safety as well. But as we release all of that, we want to calibrate your system and your nervous system to inner safety, like inner guidance, life force energy, like that infinite source that flows through you always, which will always keep you safe and always protect you and always guide you and always create for you too. That's the creation part. See how much easier that feels? So this is what we want to allow more, allow more for you, is to be in this level of certainty, this level of connection, this level of being, this level of creating, which you are doing. That's the thing, without the mind even knowing it. And also this level of freedom coming through as well. The freedom to make your choices, the choices that feel good for you, from the inside out, from the inner guidance, the inner wisdom. Never having to check or doubt yourself. Would you like to know what that feels like? Nodding or saying yes to receive that awareness on all levels, all bodies, in the highest and best way possible, with grace, ease, love, flow, without a healing crisis. Thank you. So calibrating the nervous system in alignment with this highest truth for you. Your capacity in alignment with this highest truth for you. The mind awareness, the conscious mind in this level of trust with self and inner dial. And that you get to live in this this state of bliss, peace, ease, flow, creation. Allowing that awareness to land even deeper into your being. Allow it to rewire, recondition all aspects of you. And that you know what it feels like to live, grow, expand, create from this space. And it is space, it is spaciousness, it is a wholeness. And the fears and the doubts, they don't exist here. And then what it feels like to give yourself permission to create, to act, to move, to be, to whatever you desire without checking if you're allowed. There's like an internal thing you no longer need to check. And if you find yourself doing that, and I can feel it a little bit like it pushes on the back of the shoulder, it pushes on the like, yeah, the shoulder back a little bit. It's always like, are you allowed? Can you check if you're allowed? Are you allowed? Make sure. If you feel that coming in ever, I'm just going to check this properly. Okay, yeah, if you feel that coming in, it's connecting through the heart space, softening into the heart space. And basically, like that's reminding your inner child who she is, how connected she is, that she's infinite source, and that she knows best. If you give that power back to her, it will release that little nudge. So that would be a little practice to continue when you feel it coming back in, because it takes we can clear it entirely on this deep level, on the subconscious level, but the habit is years of conditioning around it. So that's what we just want to, just softening into the heart space and giving your inner self, just your inner self, reminding that she's infinite source, will release it straight away. Oh, that feels better. Great. Okay. Okay, and this is why it's linked to the throat, because now when we connect to the throat, how does that feel? Much better. Maybe a little tingly, because there's still going to be a practice on this, on speaking our wisdom, our knowing, our power, our truth. But just knowing that you are infinite source, you have infinite wisdom, and you have inner guidance will help you to speak the words that are your truth, your alignment, your magic, actually. To be able to share openly and honestly with what really, really feels good for you, without second guessing, without sitting and waiting for some kind of validation back, without checking whether it's the right thing to say or if it's, all of that. If you'd like to release all of that, looking for validation when your words are spoken, checking how it lands with others, being unsure if you said the right things, good or bad. If you would like to release all of that into the light of Creator, heal, resolve, dissolve in the highest level possible, with grace, ease, love, and flow, nodding or saying yes. Thank you. Okay, so feeling yourself, bringing awareness to this state, placing yourself in the ball of iridescent light as we come back down into the body, through the layers of light, through the universe, down, 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 hovering above your head, and then drop into the whole body, physical body, lighting up every cell of the body as you receive this healing, every fiber, every cell, the bones, the organs, the mind, the brain, lit up. You are infinite source. Dropping all the way through the layers of the earth, down, 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 plugging into the core, the bright white light, the heartbeat. As you feel that pulsation coming up, up, up through the soles of the feet, into the body. Out the top of the head and into a ball of bright light, protection, golden shell, whatever feels good for you. Clean and clear. Placing the hands onto the heart space, gently rubbing. There's a little bit of vulnerability around the heart there, so just just bringing attention to that and love to that right now, and infinite source to that right now. And then we're going to breathe in together into the heart space, breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. Rubbing the palms together, creating lots of heat. And rubbing the cheeks, the forehead, over the eyes, blinking open the eyes when you're ready. Welcome back to the space. And I'm going to stop recording.